Wubble Trouble.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Yo guys, Straight Up Startups here, and today we're going to be the Unstoppable Level 3. So these are a couple of attacks on my second account, aka my sister's account. These are some attacks, so basically this is from earlier today, so this is basically... Okay guys, so the first round is about to begin. So I went against a level 6, yes, a level freaking 6. So let's start the round. So basically now I'm waiting for my elixir to load up because, you know, that elixir dough. Anyway, I placed down these goblins, and these goblins are meant to pressure them. And the lower levels, people do not understand like that their towers can actually do damage just to not do any damage. So that this person is pressured, and they place down a musk and spear goblin. So basically, I just create a triangle, spreading out my troops to counter, just so any splash damage like the bomber can only affect one of my troops at a time. So now the baby dragon is going in on my P.E.K.K.A. and my bomber. So I basically just place a musketeer just to counter that. So I just don't place anything else, just waiting for my elixir to load just in case they have another item to counter, which they do, the Valkyrie. But I quickly realized that only the Valkyrie won't actually get any hits on it because my tower and my musketeer are both hitting. So now I'm waiting for my elixir to generate because most people do that strategy. But this guy does not hesitate to get his elixir all filled up. So I quickly make my triangle of death, except without the top of the triangle. Unfortunately, my spear goblins stray away, but that will be just enough though. Unfortunately, if my spear goblins didn't run away, maybe the giant would have been taken down. So now I'm just going to let my troops just go in, and now I'm just going to let my troops die. And now there's a musketeer, which this guy is going to do. So now I'm just going to continue with luring it to the side so my tower can do damage on it. Now I have a bomber to deal with. I don't want the bomber to get any cheap hits, so I quickly place arrows, which could have been a waste of elixir, but anyway, I was still pretty high on elixir. So now I'm going to place the musketeer and the triangle of death once again, except without the tip of the triangle. But now I place the tip of the triangle when it's already dead, just to start a semi-little push. Now, if they place arrows here, it's not a big deal because this is not a main push. I'm really waiting until the last minute when there's double elixir, because that's when I really like to strike. Okay, so now I'm probably going to place my bomber, luring them to the side so they don't focus my tower, so they don't get too much damage done on my tower. So now, as the two times elixir, I place my giant. And then once I place my giant, I place my musk behind it and continue my push. So spear goblins are a great counter, not really. Just kidding. Okay, so now I'm just attacking, so I just arrowed down the Bomberman, and now I have the giant. I think the main strategy of this guy after placing the giant was to separate my giant from the rest of my push, and I realized that very quickly, so I began to form a bunch of troops, except spreading them out, of course, for the splash damage, obviously. Okay, and now I begin the push. Now, the P.E.K.K.A. I'm using now as the main tank instead of the giant. It's not as tanky, but it will work. And we will take down the tower with the Valkyrie coming in for the cleanup, but that doesn't matter because the Valkyrie will not do too much damage. So now they place their spear goblin once again, triangle of death right there, easily taking care of it. Now they have a giant. We already have our triangle of death ready, just placing more troops to add insult to injury to this giant, and the match is over. We have beaten the level 6. Okay, so we're beginning our next round here, and guys, keep in mind, this is not cut, these are all straight in a row rounds. Okay, so now we're going to wait for our elixir to load, and once our elixir loads, okay, so they, no hesitation, just placed archers, which never do that, because if someone has a splash, that's just a waste of your elixir. That's like a waste of, like, what, like 7 elixir right there? Okay, so now, since I know that they're pretty low on elixir, I'm going in with a mini push, just seeing what they're going to do. So now they place a witch. So when I presented with a witch, I like putting the P.E.K.K.A. So after the skeletons die, I put the P.E.K.K.A. down because basically the witch does not do too much damage without their skeletons. So the P.E.K.K.A. is a high damage troop, obviously. And so now I have my spear goblins and my goblin pack behind him. And so basically my giant is soaking up all the damage, which people use it for. But I unlike a lot of people I see, I don't use my giants for its amazing amount of hit points. Well, I'm not for the hit points, I meant the attack damage. I use it for the hit points, just to soak up all the damage while my high hit point troops are behind it. Well, it does have a high hit points, but I just expect the giant to die by the time it gets there because it's incredible. It's because it's really slow. I mean, like, it's really slow. Okay, so this guy has placed a prince, and actually, this was a misplace of mine because I just placed a giant without waiting for my elixir to load, which was a very bad decision on my behalf. But I quickly recover it with the Bomberman behind and the Spear Goblin. So now I have a mini push going, which can be easily countered with some arrows. But then again, I like spreading my things out, but then they all cluster together either way. But like, usually people like to arrow right when the troop is spawned. So that was enough to clean up that the right tower for me. And now this guy has placed a knight, but our giant is stealthily going through. So basically, this knight is cleaning up the rest of my troops from the push, and I probably will begin another push. Now, I don't really have to worry about this knight because he's a melee troop, which means he has no range, which means when he's at low health, he's not going to do any damage because our tower is going to easily take him out. So now I have a Musk and a P.E.K.K.A. going. And what this guy is doing is really weird. I just placed 2 splash troops and spear goblins, which easily lure the prince, because using goblins is great with luring the prince, and then you put some sort of skeleton or bomberman, which is a skeleton, just to do the damage while the spear goblins, since there's several goblins spawn at a time. Okay, so now this guy is going in with a witch. So once the skeletons separate from the witch, you want to place it in between. So now this guy has a bunch of little troops going in. And since the witch was at low health, it was easily taken out by the arrows. So that guy's push was basically worthless. Okay, so now I have my stealth freaking mode going in here with my P.E.K.K.A., my Musk, and my giant. Okay, so now I place my goblins because they're fast, so I put them a little bit behind so they can't completely just fireball in the middle of our push. They need a fireball when we're already doing damage. And so now I have my troops semi-spread out doing damage, but unfortunately we do not have enough time. But we still beat Matt Port with no clan. Guys, we're going into the 3rd round, okay, against another level 4. I do not know what his name is, or slash her, I don't know, but they're in the Dark Killer clan, and they are a spawner deck. So, usually spawner decks don't do something like this. So basically, I'm just going to go Spear Goblin against Spear Goblin, and place my goblins to counter that knight. It doesn't completely counter the knight, but since it's a melee semi/slow troop, it won't get any hits or one hit onto my thing. What that guy just did right there was really dumb. Like, I mean, like, really dumb, because he just fireballed our middle tower, which does, like, no damage. You only want to fireball/arrow a tower if there's a troop there, or if the tower is at, like, 30 health and you just need to win the game. Okay, so now basically that guy tried to counter our attack, so he has his little Bomberman going in, but his Bomberman is low and it's a not that far range, so we'll easily take that out. So now we have our giant, and he already deployed a baby dragon, which my mistake of not spreading it out and putting it right in front of the baby dragon, but I have my minions to quickly counter that, and my minions against these spear goblins won't do well, but I place the melee goblins right in front of them, which is great. Okay, so now I have my stealth mode giant over there. He is just going in, hopefully. Okay, so now I place my P.E.K.K.A. to begin a push. Now, I'm not sure if this was a good idea of mine. I don't really think it was, because this guy tried to get his musketeer, I think, to counter mine, but I have my bomberman over here. I probably should have placed it on the side, but that was just a mistake, because, you know, everyone makes mistakes, okay? Everyone makes mistakes. Anyway, moving on. I have my mini P.E.K.K.A. just going in at it, and we 3-starred. I don't know his name, unfortunately, but yeah. Okay, guys, for this next attack, we're going against another level 4, which I don't know what their name is. I don't even know what clan they're in. Okay, so basically, I decided I wanted to go a little bit more aggressive mode, which usually you really don't want to do, but since this is a lower level, YOLO swag. Anyway, so this guy has tombstones. Wait, who uses tombstones? Anyway, so this guy uses tombstones, and I don't even know why we use tombstones. For some reason, I see a lot of people who are, like, really good, and they use tombstones, but this guy, not so much. Actually, this guy has a lot of good troops. Like, he has the bomb tower, or whatever it's called again. That did damage to my push. Basically, it just countered my push, but I'm making sure, now that I know he has that troop, to be extra careful. So, P.E.K.K.A. against P.E.K.K.A. with some slight... Okay, so now he has a goblin barrel. Best counter against goblin barrels are arrows. Definite best because like it insta kills them, and you know those cheeky little goblin barrels do a lot. So this guy is placing down tombstone after tombstone, trying to see if he can get a couple hits, but they instant die after my tower is done with them. So tower keeps doing damage. Like again, this guy is being extremely idiotic. No offense, bombing my tower. Now, bombing towers, unless they're low, like I said before, is not really a good idea. It's just a waste of elixir. Plus, he just wasted 4 elixir on doing that. No. Anyway, so I'm just going stealth mode giant, putting in my musk behind it. Okay, so now waiting for my elixir to generate because they're pretty much very slow troops, especially with the giant in front. So this gives me time to load my elixir while counter their attack at the same time. And this guy decided, because I decided now that he has a bomb tower, that I decided what I wanted to do is I wanted to attack on both lanes, one with a major push and one with the not so major push. And this guy put the bomb tower on the not so major push, which gave me enough troops / time to take out his tower. So like I was saying with the arrowing thing, when the 30 or low, you can actually arrow just to win this match. 60 seconds left is when the action really happens. Unfortunately though, I know how this match ends up, and it just ends up with a 1-star on us. Sorry to spoil it for you guys, but I played Spear Goblin since I didn't have arrows in my area, and this guy, once again, this guy actually did play it smart with the bombing my troops. Still wasn't enough with these tombstones, so the tombstones are basically just slowing my troops down, which is, I think, is the only purpose of the tombstone, is to slow troops down. But, you know, most troops are already slow enough, so, I mean, this guy's just really helping us just collect up elixir. Okay, so now the goblins are going in, and this guy has made a flank, but quickly we countered it with the arrows. So now, basically, he's got his bomb tower just doing damage right now, and we won't be able to counter it, unfortunately. I tried to spread my troops out, but the bomb is really overpowered, and we didn't have enough time to counter both of those bomb towers, but we still took home the 1-star, which is definitely good enough when you're not a high level. A little bit more aggressive with my giant already starting out. Okay, waiting for my elixir to slightly load up more, and then going in with my mini P.E.K.K.A. So now that I'm going in with my mini P.E.K.K.A is delayed a little bit because of the tower, but since he placed a musk to counter, I basically just went in with my spear goblins. Okay, so now I waited for him to place another counter for the giant, and basically I just arrowed down all of those little troops. Okay, so next I just have a small little push going, which actually is doing a lot of damage, and he could place arrows down, which could completely destroy my push right now, but he doesn't, so basically that was lucky for us. And he places them very late, because he probably blew up all his elixir on those troops that he did, which we arrowed. So next I'm going in for the minions, just doing a little bit of pressuring on this guy. Okay, so seeing what he does, so basically he places a giant skeleton. Best thing to do with a giant skeleton is place Minecraft is place troops behind him. So basically you want to place the troops behind him, so you can, and especially if you're using like troops that shoot in a distance that are not melee, you want to take advantage of the giant skeleton's slowness. So basically they can do a lot of hits when he's walking towards them. Okay, so next I'm going to start again with a push. I'm usually not this aggressive, but this guy again is being idiotic with his skeleton horde. Usually skeleton horde I use for defense, not for so much offense. So basically now this guy just has a lone giant with some spear goblins behind it, basically just replicating the push I just did on him. Unfortunately, unlike him, I save up a little bit more elixir than him, and I actually try to go in, but I think they're still going to steal this tower using the same push. But then again, we have our giant and goblin doing damage on the left tower. So now he has this giant skeleton. As usual, we lure him into the center where all of our towers can be doing damage on him at the same time. So skeleton against skeleton with some musketeer backup. And again, once again, this guy keeps launching his skeleton horde as an offensive troop. I don't know why he does this. No idea. I've never seen anyone who's done this. I actually used to do that, and I just did it for like when I first got him. And that's like really not a good idea. Okay, so we actually just cleaned up that left tower that we did with our last push, basically arrowing down, and now I actually wasted my arrows, so he waited for my arrows, which is a very tactical move on his behalf, but I still placed down my mini P.E.K.K.A to counter it with the minion. So now he has his horde, and I basically placed my goblins to the side of the musk. So basically, so now his giant skeleton behind the giant skeleton, luring him out with the goblins, with the bomber doing extra damage with the minions. So this guy's wasting a lot of elixir. Those are 2 high elixir troops right there, the giant and the giant skeleton, okay? So I don't know what this guy is thinking. And unfortunately, the match ran out, and we got the 2-star, 2-1, good match. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Also, this is the deck that I used. If you want to add the Valkyrie or any of those other troops into it, you can. It's really good also for getting out of Arena 2 and into Arena 3.